Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to our Senior Services Seminar. It's September 24th, and of course, we're doing this virtually, which is a little bit different from our normal in-person meeting. So I do miss seeing everybody in person, but it's so nice to see everyone's faces on the screen. So we are so happy to put this seminar on. We've had such a tremendous response. We have so many great presenters. Of course, we're partnering with Chesapeake Parks and Rec, and we will get to Karen Christie in just a moment. A couple of things about this video, and well, I say this video because we are going to be recording this seminar. So just a few things to know is that we will put this video after the seminar. When we put the video up on our website, it will be on senioradvocate.live, L-I-V-E, in the blog section, and that should be by early next week, probably Monday or Tuesday. All of the presenters today, their bios and their contact information will also be on the video portion of the seminar, so you can look for that. Many of you know that today at the end of the seminar, we'll be doing a drawing for the iPad. So you have to be online watching to get a chance to win the iPad. So I'll just give you that little hint, but somebody's going to walk away with a brand new iPad. So much fun. We're also going to be giving out goodie bags and informational packets. Now, how are we going to do that, you say? Because you guys are all over the place watching. I think we even have somebody from South Carolina that's watching today. The only way that we can do that is to give them out at the Chesapeake Rokeby Center. So you're going to have to, it's a kind of like a drive-by. You're going to actually go and it's going to be curbside pickup. And they are going to be giving out those goodie bags and packets next Thursday and Friday, October 1st and 2nd, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The address is 1709 Rokeby, R-O-K-E-B-Y Avenue. Again, that's in Chesapeake. So if you want more information about that, you can also go online to our senioradvocate.live, and we'll have the address and the times listed there as well. You probably want to have some paper and pen handy during this seminar. We have a lot of great information, and as I said, once it's recorded, you'll be able to go back to the video, but there is a lot of great information that you might want to write down. Also, since we are online and since we have so many people joining us today, we will not be able to take questions, but what I'm asking everyone to do is to please write down your questions. Then you can email them to me, and my email is Steph, S-T-E-P-H, at senioradvocate.live, and I will then send them to the appropriate presenter so that they can answer you personally. So please send in questions. We'd love to be able to get back to you and answer them. Once we're in person, we'll be able to do that, hopefully live and, face to face. But until then, we're going to do this, and we're going to have a great morning. I wanted to welcome Karen Christie, and I'm going to get her online so that she can just say a few words. And again, Karen is with Chesapeake Parks and Rec, and she is our partner in this seminar. Welcome, Karen.
Thank you, Stephanie. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to all of our core participants who I know very well. Welcome and hello to all of our seniors from sister cities. We're so excited to be speaking with you today. First, we always want to say hello to our veterans. We can never tell you enough how much we thank you for your time in service. I definitely want to thank Stephanie. She is truly one of the most gracious, kind, hardworking, generous people you could ever want to have working for you as a retired adult. So Stephanie, thank you for this wonderful opportunity. Before 2020, life was full of plenty of challenges, wasn't it? And this year has been no different, but today is a new day full of infinite possibility. And it's remaining an utmost priority for all of us to keep recreation and leisure in our lives. It may be difficult to do it daily, so we always suggest and encourage you to just look at the balance of a week. What have I done for myself to take a little discretionary time, to ease my mind and have a few laughs? And that's what we're here to do for you. As recreation programmers, our job is to create programs, activities, and special events that are specifically designed for the unique needs and desires of the retired person. And those of you that have been with us a long time, I know you're pretty pleased with what we're doing already, but we're always pushing our limits to try to give you even more and bigger and better. Some of the categories of activities that you can find with us would include instructional classes. It might be exercise, which we all have to do. It could be a sewing class, a jewelry making class, art and music classes, and more. We have line dancing, which our seniors love to do in our city. We have line dancing groups weekly, spread out all over Chesapeake. And so pick up some of the latest line dance moves and come and have some fun with us with that. We also like to put our laundry basket down and leave our dishes in the sink and have our seniors jump on our gorgeous brand new 22 passenger motor coach, right everybody? And we travel up on the peninsula, down here to the south side, into the Outer Banks of North Carolina, Edenton, Elizabeth City, and all points in between. We go to theaters and we see shows and we're shopping, 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 and we never stop eating because that is one of our favorite pastimes. So we hope maybe that you all who haven't been with us yet will take a bus trip with us when our bus gets back on the road. In addition to that, we conduct 8 special events during the year. This year, we would have celebrated, and we're still going to celebrate, the fact that our 50-plus Chesapeake Games is in its 41st year. That's pretty special. It's a week-long effort with activities every day, and we hope you'll check that out in spring of 2021. We have an annual fish fry. We celebrate Senior Citizens Month in May with an outdoor concert on the beautiful Elizabeth River at our nationally award-winning Elizabeth River Park, which sits at the foot of the South Norfolk Jordan Bridge. We move on to the annual Pig Pickin', which is co-sponsored by Sheriff Jim O'Sullivan, another staunch supporter of our senior programs. We move on to a senior art show in the fall to show off all of the talent of our seniors. And we have a beautiful holiday luncheon in December, which for a lot of our seniors is their Christmas dinner. So now I want to talk about the core of our programs, which is our 22 senior clubs. Yes, I did say 22. Most of these clubs started forming in the 1960s, in the early beginnings of our city. And as seniors have moved on to glory, we keep recruiting new members all the time, and we have over 750 active members. So shout out to all of you club members today, and we continue to thank you for supporting your clubs. Yeah, you can applaud that. Thank you for supporting your individual clubs and our department at large. I'm going to hold up quickly. This is the cover of our spring Peak Discovery Guide. I know it might be reading backwards, I'm not sure. This is our chief publication. We also do a supplemental trifold brochure for 55 and better because we can't fit all of our activities in our allotted pages of the guide. We also love to do a half-page colorful fun flyer for all of our activities as well. There's a plethora of material that we distribute into the community. As our core seniors know, I'm not going to list them all now, but there are about a half a dozen ways that you can access our departmental information and 55 and better activities at large, including on our city's website, on the special events calendar for the city, our department website. We have an Instagram account, a department Facebook page, and our own YouTube channel now. How about that? But the thing we want you to know right now is our life has gone virtual just like yours for the most part. And we need to capture as many email addresses as we can to send you invitations like the one you received today for this wonderful event. So if you are interested in more information from us, please send an email to our senior general mailbox. And this one I am going to ask you to write down. Senior programs at cityofchesapeake.net, and that's all lowercase. And indicate that you would like to be added to our master list of emails, and you won't miss any of this virtual fun. We're doing 2 Zoom bingos every week. Prizes are picked up monthly via curbside, and we're doing informational presentations in the middle of the week. Okay? I think my time is up. I want to thank Stephanie again, and I'm going to kick back now and enjoy this fun. On behalf of our director, Mike Barber, Assistant Director, Monica Christensen, and our Rec Superintendent, Thurman Diamond, I say thank you for the privilege in serving your recreational needs, and please stay well. The moment we get the green light to bring you back into our facilities, we will be ready for you. Stay well, everyone, and thank you. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thanks, Karen. We love working with Karen Christie. She is a ball of energy, and I think we all wish we had just maybe an ounce of that energy. So we have so much fun, and I know you guys enjoy all of your activities. So this is going to be a great morning. I am going to now turn it over to our moderator, Sharon Smith. She is Vice President with Senior Advocate. Welcome, Sharon.
Well, welcome to you, Stephanie, and thank you, Stephanie, and thank you, Karen. It's a thrill to be here. I am sad a bit because I recognize so many names on the registration list that we used to see in person all the time, our huge Senior Advocate family. But I'm also gratified to know that they are still alive, doing well, and still interested in learning what they can in their later years. So this is going to be a great program this morning. I've heard some of these speakers, most of them before. I know that it's going to be worth your while. So stick with us. We will have a mid-morning break for 15 minutes. You can get up and stretch your legs. But at this time, let's just get right to our first presenter, Dr. Frank Lombardozzi. Dr. Lombardozzi is from Kempsville Chiropractic, and he's going to speak to us today on managing stress and the effects on your health. Good morning, Dr. Lombardozzi.
Good morning.
Welcome, and you've got the floor.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, and welcome everybody to this lecture that we're going to be doing today and for the whole day. Seems like you have a very nice setup, or a very nice lineup set up for you and everything. And like she just mentioned, I'm going to be talking about managing stress and its effect on your health. And probably, as everybody knows, if you have stress and you don't manage it properly, it affects you in so many ways. And the list goes on for a long line. However, when you look at like the top or the big or the top 4 problems that are created if you don't manage stress properly in your life, some of the big things that you can see are things like heart disease or heart attacks, diabetes, cancer, and also degenerative changes in the body, especially in the joints in the body. And when you look at stress, just to kind of, give you a better understanding on different types of stress. So when most people think about stress, typically they think about more the mental or emotional side of stress. And when you look at it, the emotional or the mental side is definitely a big part of stress that you have in your everyday life, but it doesn't end there. So you have emotional, psychological stress. The second one would be physical stresses, and physical stresses could be things like if you sit at a computer all day. And if you're sitting at a computer all day and you don't have great posture, if your ears aren't over your shoulders aren't over your hips, and you're leaning forward, or people are texting and their heads are being forward a lot, that could be a physical stress. A physical stress could be the lack of exercise, not too much exercise, but the lack of exercise, which is big in our society. And that could be a physical stress, or it could be a fall or an injury or an accident or something like that. So the 3 stresses are going to be mental, emotional, physical stresses, and then also chemical stresses. So chemical stresses would be anything that you eat or drink or put into your body. So anything that you eat, drink, or put into your body either is going to be a building block to the body, whether it has vitamins or minerals or carbohydrates, proteins, fats. It's either going to have something that's like a building block or something that's good for your body, or something that your body has to filter out. So once again, when you look at the 3 stresses that can affect your body, it's the mental, emotional stresses, the physical stresses, and the chemical stresses. And when you look at stress, stress has a huge effect on your body. And it has an effect both on your nervous system and also on your hormonal system. So when you look at your nervous system would be things like your brain, your spinal cord, There's a series of nerves that come out of your body and come out and control and coordinate all your organs in your body. But also, depending on how your body functions, this has an effect on a nerve supply that comes back into your spinal cord and goes up into your brain and affects your brain. So when you look at your nervous system, I like to tell people that your nervous system is a two-way highway. Your brain sends information down to the body, and then also the body sends information back into the spinal cord and back up into the brain and lets the brain know how the body is functioning. So once again, if you have stresses that you don't manage properly, these are going to affect your nervous system and also your hormonal system. The biggest part on your hormonal system that it'll affect would be your adrenal glands. So your adrenal glands are glands that sit on top of your kidneys, and your adrenal glands will secrete cortisol in response to stress. So if you have too much stress over a long period of time, then what's going to happen is your adrenal glands are going to secrete cortisol, and cortisol puts your body into a sympathetic dominant mode. So you got when you look at your nervous system, you've probably heard of things like your sympathetic and your parasympathetic. So your parasympathetic is more like the relaxed side, or they call it the wine and dine side. And then you also have your sympathetic side, which is going to be more of your stress side. And if you have stresses for a long period of time, and if you're not managing them properly, and that's the key thing, if you're not managing your stresses properly, then this has a negative effect on the cortisol. And if you have too much cortisol coming into your body, this moves you more into the sympathetic state or more into the stress state over a long period of time. Now, if you have cortisol coming into your body over a long period of time, this leads you once again to chronic diseases. And those would be things like heart disease, diabetes, and cancer, and things like that. I had a patient that came in the other day. She's a cardiologist. And when the cardiologist came in, the first day we did a whole bunch of different tests, a consultation, examination, x-rays, computerized nerve scans. And one of the parts of our computerized nerve scans that we do is called the heart rate variability. And your heart rate variability looks to see how stress is affecting your nervous system in your body. And as I was going over this test with her, once again, she's a cardiologist, she said, "Oh, geez, you guys use heart rate variability testing?" She said, "We do too." And when I asked her, what does she use it for? She said, they look at heart rate variability because they know if someone is under stress over a long period of time and they're not managing it properly, once again, it'll increase cortisol being secreted in your body, and it leads you more towards heart disease and diabetes. And as chiropractors, we look at it because we know if someone's under stress for a long period of time and they don't manage it properly, this has a negative effect on your spine and your nervous system. And once again, when you look at your nervous system, it's your brain, your spinal cord, and the nerves that come out. And when you look at your spine is made up of 24 movable bones. And if these bones are not moving properly or they're misaligned, and stress is what leads you towards that. So if your spine is misaligned and not moving properly, this is going to interfere with the flow of the nervous system, or the flow of the nervous system from the brain down to the body, out to the nerves, and out to all the different organs and all the different systems in your body. So when you start looking at stress, one of the big things I want to bring across, we all have stresses in our life. And if anyone ever tried to go a week without having stress, it's basically impossible. You always have stresses in your life. And I tell people all the time, as you go through life and you become more productive, more successful in life, you actually have more stresses. So it's really not about decreasing stress. It's really about managing stress properly in your life. And if you manage stress really, really well, then this is going to decrease the ill effects of stresses on your health. And when you look at stress, you have two types of stress. You have what are called eustresses and distresses. So a eustress is a stress that you have in your life that promotes you to take action and move in a good direction. And then you also have distress. So distress would be negative stresses that you have over a long period of time that you do not manage properly. So the biggest thing I want you to understand is not really about decreasing stresses, but it's really about what are the actions that you're taking on a daily basis to help you manage stress better in your life. And if you don't manage stress properly, this leads to different types of symptoms. And after practicing 25 years, some of the major symptoms that we see in our office on a daily basis as a result of stress not being managed properly are going to be things like headaches and migraines, sleeping problems, immune system problems, where you get sick more often than you should, depression, anxiety, spinal pain. You often see people, if they're under stress a lot of times, they're like holding their neck and they're rolling their head and stuff like that, because if you're under stress for a long period of time, this has an effect once again on your nervous system, and your nervous system controls the muscles. Your muscles come all the way down along your spine, so when those muscles get tight, obviously that has an ill effect. Also, if you have stress for a long period of time and you don't manage it properly, this affects your digestive system too. So you've probably noticed if you have stress for a long period of time and you don't manage it properly, then you start, seeing things like nausea, and bloating and digestive types of problems, whether it be indigestion, heartburn, reflux, constipation, diarrhea, things to that effect. So it definitely has an effect on your digestive system, and it also can affect your heart. So if you don't manage stress properly over a long period of time, and if you talk to any cardiologist, if you don't manage stress, then you see a lot of people going more towards high blood pressure and then ultimately towards a heart attack, which is obviously something that you want to avoid. So when you start looking at, well, how do I properly manage stress in my life? And there's a few things that you can do. It actually is a bunch of things. And seeing that I have 20 minutes, I'm going to cover some of the, probably like the top 4 things that you can really do on a daily basis to help you manage stress properly. So there's going to be 4 things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about nutrition and what are the best ways to eat to decrease chemical stresses on your body. We're going to talk about your nervous system, because obviously your nervous system controls and coordinates the function of every cell, every tissue, every muscle, every organ. So every organ, every system, every muscle in your body is controlled by your nervous system. But just to back up a little bit, when you look at your nervous system, even though your nervous system controls everything, just 10%, just a small part of your nervous system feels pain. And this just means that you can have problems going on sometimes for 20, 30 years and you don't feel it. So one of the things that I tell people on a regular basis is that only 10% of your nervous system feels pain. And you know this, and most people know this because we've all met people who feel fine one day. So they feel fine one day, and the next day they have a heart attack. Or you meet people that feel fine and they get diagnosed with diabetes. Or you meet people who feel fine and they get diagnosed with cancer. They tell the person you have 6 months or a year to live, but you don't have pain yet. So when you look at health, this is one of the big things I want you to understand. When you look at health, health has nothing to do with how you feel. It's really about how your body is functioning. Because when you look at the leading causes of death in this country, you can have heart disease and you don't feel pain. You can have diabetes and you don't feel pain. You can have cancer and you don't feel pain. These are the leading causes of death in this country. And one thing they all have in common is you can have one of those, 2 of those, all 3 of those, and you don't feel pain. So it's really not about pain. It's all about function. So when you look at managing stress, you're going to be looking at, well, how do I maximize function in my life? So once again, it's going to be through nutrition, healthy functioning nervous system, getting enough exercise, and getting enough sleep and rest. So when you start looking at nutrition, the biggest thing you want to focus on with nutrition, and this is something I could talk about probably for about an hour or 2. This is something I study on a regular basis. But some of the bare basics that you want to look at is, number one, when it comes down to nutrition, you want to make sure that anything that you eat, anything that you put into your mouth, the food that you put into your body is either going to lead you more towards being more alkalized, which is good. Alkalized is good, and acidic is bad. Because if you go more to being more acidic, this is going to increase inflammation in your body. And anything that increases inflammation in your body is going to lead you towards chronic disease and increases stress chemically in your body. So the top things that cause acidity or increased inflammation in your body are going to be things like sugar. They're going to be things like flour products. And when I say flour products, those would be things like your breads and your pastas and your cereals and your crackers. And unfortunately, if you put too many carbohydrates or too many flour products into your body, as that comes into your body, it turns into sugar in your body. And once again, sugar is not the best thing for your body because it leads you more towards inflammation. And if it leads you more towards inflammation, it leads you more towards chronic diseases. Once again, those being things like heart disease, diabetes, cancer, degenerative changes within the body. So number one is when it comes down to nutrition, you want to make sure that you maximize vegetables. So vegetables, number one. Number 2 would be fruits. And you want to be careful with fruits, especially if you're diabetic. But number 1 would be vegetables, then fruits. Then you'd want to make sure you're getting enough water into your body because 70% of your body is made up of water. So you want to make sure you're getting about, on average, about, if you take, I tell people this is the best formula. If you take your body weight in pounds, you cut that in half, that's how many ounces you should drink a day. So in other words, if I weigh 200 pounds, I should be drinking at least 100 ounces a day. Now I would stop this right about a gallon because if someone weighs 500 pounds, I don't want them trying to drink 250 ounces a day. So on average, once again, take your body weight in pounds, cut that in half. That's how many ounces you should be drinking a day. So once again, lots of vegetables, fruits, lots of water. You have to make sure you're eating good nuts. And when I say good nuts, not peanuts and not cashews, because peanuts are a legume. In other words, it's a bean product. It's not a nut. And there's a lot of omega-6 essential fatty acids. And omega-6 essential fatty acids lead you more towards inflammation. And not cashews, because unfortunately cashews are not a nut. It's actually a seed. And when you look at it, it has a lot of lectins in it. And lectins are a part of a plant or a part of a a seed or or some kind of vegetation that actually increases inflammation and causes disruption of your digestive system. So once again, lots of vegetables, fruit, good sources of nut, and good sources of meat, good lean sources of protein. Once again, when it comes down to nutrition, this is something that I could go on for a while, but those would be some of the big things. Number one, the two things you want to really try to reduce, or the three things you want to reduce in your diet, would be the things like sugar, flour products, and bad oils. So you have good oils and bad oils. So the good oils would be things like coconut oil, olive oil, fish oil, oil from nuts, oil from fish. Those are going to be the good kinds of oils for you. So when it comes down to nutrition, that would be the nutrition part. When you start looking at a good, healthy functioning nervous system, once again, your nervous system controls and coordinates the function of everything in your body. So once again, when I say everything, all your muscles, all your organs, all your systems in your body are controlled by your nervous system. So you want to keep your spine healthy. And obviously, as chiropractors, that's our big focus. As chiropractors, our main focus is on your spine and your nervous system. And once again, we're looking at your spine to see if there's any interference to your nervous system. And if you ever have any bones, if there's any bones in your spine that are misaligned and not moving properly, this will interfere with your nervous system. Your nervous system controls everything. So if your nervous system is functioning better, this is going to help you manage stress better in your life. The next thing is going to be exercise. You want to make sure that you're exercising at least 4 to 5 times a week. The goal is to get up to about 30 to 45 minutes at least. When you look at exercise, you want to be doing both aerobic exercises and anaerobic. So aerobic, and then also things that help to strengthen your musculoskeletal system. Now, especially for patients, or especially for people in our society, as you start getting more towards your senior years, you have to make sure you're doing some kind of weight-bearing exercise, because unfortunately, once you start getting into your 60s, into your 70s, into your 80s, then what happens is you start to lose some of the bone mineral, and you start to move more towards osteopenia and osteoporosis. And we found through research, if you're doing weight-bearing exercises, things that have to do with like calisthenics or something with weights or exercise bands, something that creates resistance, then this is going to help to strengthen the bone. And this is something you want to make sure you do, especially as you get into the senior years, because unfortunately, if you have a fall, then you have a greater chance of fracturing a bone or fracturing a hip. And you probably notice when someone gets into their 70s and 80s, if they fall and fracture the hip, a lot of times it's really hard for them to bounce back to being healthy again. So the solutions, once again, are going to be nutrition, going to be a healthy functioning nervous system, exercise, and then getting enough sleep. So when it comes down to sleep, if you do not get enough sleep, then this causes a lot of stress in your body, because your body basically recuperates when you're sleeping. So when people ask me, hey, how much sleep should I get at night? I'm always telling people you want to get at least between 7 and 9 hours a night. And unfortunately, if you don't get enough sleep, then unfortunately this affects your cortisol levels once again, which leads you more towards more stress and more dysfunction in your life, and more towards disease processes. So once again, the top things you want to focus on to manage stress properly in your life, once again, it's going to be great nutrition, a healthy functioning nervous system, because your nervous system controls and coordinates all the systems in your body and all your organs, exercise, and getting enough sleep and rest. So I know I only had 20 minutes. I think I'm getting right up to about that limit right now. So we'll turn the floor over. I thank you all for being here. And I hope everyone has a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, Doctor. We appreciate you coming and taking the time out of your busy schedule.
My pleasure.
Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Okay. All right,
I
everybody.
just wanted to jump in for a second. Sorry. We did have a glitch where people were not able to get on. So more people are starting to come on. It looked like they capped our number at 100, and we have more than 100. So somehow we were able to fix it on the fly. And right now we are waiting for Becky King with Atlantic Shores, and I think I see them on there. So sorry to jump in, moderator, but back to you, and you can bring them on.
Not a problem. Thank you, Stephanie. Our next two speakers are from Atlantic Shores, and they are the sponsor of today's program. So we thank them very much for their support. Kathy Parks is Director of Resident Services, and Ann Dillman is a resident of Atlantic Shores. And together they're going to talk about life as a resident. Welcome, ladies.
Hello.
Thank you all for inviting us.
You've got the floor.
Well, we want to welcome everybody, and we're going to talk a little bit about what it's like here at Atlantic Shores with a resident view. And what we have to offer here at our beautiful 100-acre campus. It's not just beautiful on the outside, it's beautiful on the inside with a family environment. So I'm going to let Ann talk a little bit about what it's like as a resident here and how much she enjoys Atlantic Shores.
Good morning. I came here about 5 years ago from Tennessee, and it's very difficult coming into a new community when you're retired and not out in the work world, etc. And I was very fortunate to have a wonderful welcoming committee and a very informed process to get used to Atlantic Shores. It took time. I had to sell the big house and do the thinning out of everything like we have to do in these kind of cases, but I wanted to be near my family in Virginia Beach. The process has gone very smoothly since. I love all the activities Kathy and her department present for us. There's activities for all different ages and abilities, and you can keep very busy or maybe not so busy if that's your choice. But personally, I've been involved in exercise classes, a lot of walking around our beautiful campus. I've gone to concerts and Broadway shows and historical sites. I love the trips out of here for those specialized things. Unfortunately, right now, we're somewhat COVID restricted, although we're opening up very slowly and carefully. I also love the chef's dinners and wine tastings, and we have guest speakers, guest singers and bands and happy hours. It's just very, very busy, and that's my choice. But I have been very glad to meet wonderful people with wonderful stories, life stories. It's just been an education. I'm also involved in the governance of Atlantic Shores. We're a cooperative. And so we have a lot of committees, and I get involved in those. My favorites are health, and the other one is sales and marketing. So it's been a very busy time for me. And we've all had to modify, and Kathy can tell you more about that, but I really feel like it's almost like a gift to my children that they don't have to worry about the next thing that I might need or the next thing they will have to do. They are very close by, but they know I'm busy, that I like it here, and I'm very happy to be here. Atlantic Shores, if you need something, they'll try and work it out for you. And I was thinking the other day that it's like a safety net, that if things suddenly change, they're there for us. They'll help us through it. I can't emphasize enough that if you are moving or considering moving from out of town, it's a rough thing, but you can fit in, and you'll be very, very welcome.
You know, I think a lot of the things that Ann was talking about is so true, and she does keep busy. She's one of our more active residents here at Atlantic Shores, and we try to make sure that we are providing activities and programs for all of our residents. It doesn't matter whether you like to read books and you want to be part of our book club, or maybe you like to play mahjong or bridge or play a game of pool or swim in the pool or take a fitness class. Maybe you like music and you want to join our choir or do some of our trips outside of Atlantic Shores. We go to museums and to dinners and lunches, and we also go on overnight trips. We've gone to New York City on a annual basis. We go to Dover Downs, Washington, D.C. We go on cruises. We've gone to Alaska, Caribbean, Bermuda, Canada. Our residents are well-rounded and like to stay busy. And there are a few residents that keep to themselves, but we want to make sure that we are able to accommodate all of them. Now, not just our activities, our culinary staff. We have 3 dining rooms here at Atlantic Shores, and they are amazing. We've won so many awards around the community here in Virginia Beach and Southampton Roads with our excellent culinary staff. So, you don't have to worry about anything when you come to Atlantic Shores. We have housekeepers that come in to clean your apartments or your villas. We have grounds that just make our 100-acre campus absolutely beautiful to walk around throughout the seasons. And, we have staff that's here to help you. So this is the place to be. And Ian is just one of many of our family members. And we talk about Atlantic Shore is a great place to live, but it's also a great place to work. We have a lot of staff that have been here for many years, and our residents are like our family members, and our residents treat us like we're part of the family. There's a mutual respect around that. We help each other, and we love what we do. So what do you think is your favorite program here? What is your favorite thing about Atlantic Shores?
My favorite thing is probably the exercise fitness classes, and you can even get personal training if you want to work on a special activity or lose some weight, which is a problem for a lot of us with all the good food. And so I like to stay active, and I like to walk on the beautiful property. It's safe, it's flat. It's just a way to stay active, and I'm a firm believer, if you don't use it, you lose it. So it keeps my mind and body and spirit going. And I really like the social life, dinners in the dining room, and cocktail hour, and special events like chef dinners and things like that. They are just really a great thing. I often wonder, in fact, a few weeks ago, I was really reflecting on what we've all been through over the last few months. And I thought, what would I have done if I still lived by myself in a house and my family 500 miles away? Or what would I have done if I just came and got an apartment somewhere here in Virginia Beach? It would have, I just can't imagine. Here we hardly noticed that things were that different. Things were different, but we had each other. We spent a lot of time on the phone. We were well informed and felt very, very safe. It was rough at first, but it just, everything worked out very well. And if you're moving from out of town, it's a great place to land.
We did have to modify our activities through COVID.
Mm-hmm.
We did our exercise classes outside.
Mm-hmm.
We had our entertainment for TGIF outside. We were going through all of our courts in our villas and doing a travel entertainment and travel exercise.
Mm-hmm.
So there were a lot of things that we were doing differently. But again, we try to keep our residents busy through this time, and making sure that we kept that communication open
Mm-hmm.
to them. We have a program here at Atlantic Shores, it's called Care Merge, that we use to get information out to our residents that use computers, or maybe they use Care Merge on their tablet or on their cell phone, but they can check out things like the menu, the daily menus or the weekly menu. They can check out the activities. There's a lot of good that has come out of this COVID time for all of us, and I think that it brought us all closer together, and we are seeing light at the end of the tunnel, because we're now getting back to a new norm, and having fun at it. And that's the biggest thing, is making sure that we're able to keep our residents happy and have fun.
I think too, we learned a lot how to Zoom and how to do the care merge, and ordering groceries online, having it delivered was a new event. And we've learned a lot. FaceTime with our families, and learning was a challenge for some of us, but it was a good thing. We learned a lot. So I like all of those technical things. And it's once you get used to it, which is hard sometimes for some of us, it works out really well.
Yeah. We even started something back in March, our daily shout outs. At 3 o'clock every day, residents would come out on their villas, open up their garages, go on their decks, and take their pots and pans and bang them, or their bells and ring the bells. They were making noise at 3 o'clock every day as staff would drive around in their vehicles to praise the staff, to thank the staff, and just that was a way for us to put a face. Sometimes through COVID, we didn't see all our residents come out, but they would come out for our shout outs. And this is still a norm for us. We're still doing our shout outs. And I think we're going to continue doing our shout outs. It's a great way to see our residents and put smiles on the staff's faces as well as the residents. And I know that that's been important to make sure that we're taking care of them. So knowing that there's different levels of care here at Atlantic Shores, we have our independent living, but we also have our skilled nursing, an assisted living, and a memory center. And I think for family members, it's good to know that there are different levels of care, so that if Ann needed help, she knows that she could go into our skilled nursing if she needed that. If she's going out for elective surgery and she wants to come back home, then we have something for her.
It's and we have a wellness center for those of us that are independent. We can use it as our primary physician, which was a godsend for me coming from another state, because a lot of doctors don't want to take a Medicare patient, a new one. So it's all built in. I can just run down the wellness center if I need to, and if I need to be referred out, they can tell me where to go and set up an appointment. And so that was a very good calling card for me personally.
We're getting ready to celebrate 24 years here at Atlantic Shores. And every year we have a huge party to celebrate. And this year is no different. We're modifying it a little bit, but we're having a Nifty's 50s theme, and our residents will come dressed to have fun and to dance and to enjoy the wonderful meal that's going to be prepared for them. So we are truly looking forward to getting back to our normal here at Atlantic Shores with our day in the life at a premier resort.
Yes, and don't forget too, we're near the beaches, which I love, and
that's right.
I go to the beach with my daughter during the summer twice a week, and there's of course boardwalks and a tourist area, and it's a lot of fun, a fun place to live on the outside too. I've joined the church and other things, but most everything I really need is right here on campus.
Yeah, we have a lot of military that live here as well. There's probably a good percentage of our residents that either their spouse was military or they're retired military. So we really cater to our military, and soon we'll be celebrating Veterans Day and having a big celebration for our military retirees. So that's just one of many celebrations.
That's right. At Christmas time, there's a Christmas tree decorated in every lobby, every gathering place. In fact, one year, I think your assistant Megan took pictures of all of these trees. They were all decorated differently, different colors, and it was so pretty and so beautiful. Um, so they really go big on holidays, which is a great thing because it helps us all get into the spirit. So decorating is a big thing with Megan, especially. I think she is a big decorator.
Well, we do. We like to decorate and have special events each month, and each quarter we have larger events like our murder mystery. We have that every year, and our walkathons, our picnics. Actually, Labor Day we had an outdoor picnic this year under a big tent, and we have a gorgeous lake. Actually, we have 7 lakes here, but we have Red Wing Lake that we have our gazebo and pavilion area so families can have picnics. We really enjoy being here at Atlantic Shores, and we hope that you will enjoy coming to take a visit at Atlantic Shores. So please give us a call, and we want to thank everyone for letting us talk to you about a day in life here at Atlantic Shores, and welcome you all to come and visit us. So everyone have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, ladies. Kathy Parks and Ann Dillman. It was a treat to hear about life, what goes on out there at Atlantic Shores, and you all have a blessed day yourselves.
Okay, I'll tell
Thank
you.
you so much. Take care.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Our next presenter is Karen Smith, not our Karen Christie, who's on the picture right now, but Karen Smith is Recreation Leader from Chesapeake Parks, Recreation and Tourism, and Karen is going to present today on Move with Dance.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
Thank you, Karen. You're good to go.
Okay.
I am going to teach you the locomotion line dance this morning. So I hope that you all participate. It's our 2-step rock step, and we're going to do it before we play our music. So you're going to take your right foot and you're going to step forward 1, 2. You're going to triple step those feet, 1, 2, 3, and step up with your left foot for 2 rocks. 1, 2. Come back to start. We're going to do a grapevine to the right for 3 steps and tap with your left foot. Ready? 1, 2, 3, tap. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to turn a quarter of a turn, and we're going to keep going on that grapevine. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 to the left. You will start rocking again. Rock, right step, triple step, left foot, back to grapevine for the right. 1, 2, 3, tap, left, 2, 3, turn, 1, 2, 3, tap, 1, 2, 3. Back to rock step, 1, 2, triple step, 1, 2. And we continue the grapevine again. 1, 2, 3, turn, 1, 2, 3. Left, 2, 3. Back to rock step. You think you can do it? It's pretty easy. Okay? We're going to do it to music now. Are you ready? Everybody get up. Get set to go. Ready? Left foot. Turn. Left. Rock. Triple step. Left. Turn. Rock step. Grapevine. Grapevine to the left. And turn. Triple step. Back start. Left. Rock step. Triple step, left. Great line, 3. Left. Turn. Line dancing. You can do anything. Any song that has a beat. Hear that beat? Great line, 3. Left, great line, and turn. Rock step. Triple step. Rock step left. Great line right. Turn. Rock step. Great line. Great line, and turn. Triple step, left, rock, rock, great line, and turn. Thank you. We're going to take a minute pause, and then we're going to do the electric slide next, so don't go anywhere. Okay. Okay. Next is electric slide. It's played in many weddings and groups, and a lot of people participate. It's very easy. It's 3 steps to the right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. If you are not comfortable crisscrossing your legs, you can sidestep. Okay? 1, 2, 3, and do it that way. Whatever you're comfortable with. So we do the grapevine. We start off with the grapevine right. 1, 2, 3. Grapevine to the left. 1, 2, 3. We walk backwards. 1, 2, 3. We lean on that right leg. Lean back. Rock forward. Lean back. We lean on this left foot, and we're going to do a quarter of a turn and start the grapevine all over again. Okay? Super easy. 1, 2, everything is in 3s. Okay? All right, here we go with some music. This should sound familiar to you. What do you think? Think you'll get up and do it again? You can find any of these line dances on YouTube. You just type in line dance lessons and they will teach them for you. That's how I learned. But I also learned with the group of people I go out with, they're really, really good line dancers. So I'm up to about 8 line dances now and I have a lot of fun. And I hope you'll try it too. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karen. That was wonderful. We'll now take a brief 15-minute break and resume our program at 10:45. Hi, everybody. Is everybody back? Take your seats, give you a couple minutes. Okay, I think that we're going to start. We're going to talk about brain health. So our next speaker is Doug Panto, Community Programs Manager for the Alzheimer's Association Southeastern Virginia Chapter. Doug, as I said, will present on brain health. Welcome, Doug.
Why, hello, and welcome, everybody. I want to talk a little bit about brain health. That's a question that I get all the time about how do I keep my brain healthy? Well, we're going to talk about 4 areas of that. When it comes to brain health, we're going to talk about physical health and exercise, cognitive activity, diet, nutrition, and social engagement. First off, let's start off with physical activity. And actually, I was happy to see that there were folks that were exercising during that exercise piece, because what we now know is that cardiovascular activity may reduce your risk of cognitive decline. Regular and vigorous exercise leads to increased blood flow. Other physical activities may also yield benefits, such as yoga and stretches and things of that nature, but there is not one single recipe for it. And so what we tell folks is do what you like. Start out small, move safely, get your heart rate up. Any exercise that gets your heart rate up is very good for you. Ask friends to join you. Oftentimes it's easier to exercise when you have a group of friends that are doing it. And check with your doctor before you start. There are some exercises that may not be beneficial for you, so you may want to talk to your doctor first before you start an exercise. Next, diet and nutrition. What we know, what's good for your heart may also be good for your brain because it fuels your brain, what you eat. And so you want to make sure you're eating nutritious foods. Following some dietary guidelines, you can reduce your risk for heart disease, cancer, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's disease, stroke, and diabetes. And this has been proven with science. So when it comes to diet and nutrition, eating the right foods such as vegetables, fruits, nuts, beans, and whole grains, lean meats, fish, and poultry, and using vegetable oils and trying to avoid those saturated fats or trans fats. When it comes to processed foods or even solid fat, sugar, and salt, you want to try to avoid that as much as possible. And even our deep fried foods, you want to try to avoid that or have it in small quantities, not all the time. I know, for example, I love fried chicken. However, you have to have them in small quantities and not every single day. That way you're eating healthy. When it comes to cognitive activity, what can we do to keep our brain going? Well, keep your mind as active as possible. You want to make sure you're forming new connections in your brain, and the more activity, the more stimulation that you do with your brain, the better and healthier your brain is going to be. And in cognitive activity, it also encourages blood flow to the brain because you're creating those new connections in your brain and those new brain cells. Mentally stimulating activities may possibly maintain or even improve your cognition as we get older. Engaging in formal education will keep your brain healthy as well. So you want to make sure you're staying engaged, trying to keep your mind as stimulated as possible. And some of those activities can be something as simple as reading a book, articles that challenge or inspire you. You want to make sure you're keeping your brain as healthy as possible by if it's too easy, then it might not be challenging, or it might not be the best for you. So you want to try something that's challenging. Completing puzzles, playing games are also challenging. Now, if it's too easy for you, it might not be challenging, and you might not create those new connections. So you want to make sure that you are, if you're playing a game, make it challenging for you. And then learn new skills or hobbies. Learning something new creates those new connections in your brain. So try to learn something new. For example, a few years ago, I was learning how to play the guitar. And I wish I learned when I was younger, because as I get older, I'm finding out my fingers don't really want to do what my brain is telling it to do. But I am very happy to announce that I've learned how to play Mary Had a Little Lamb very well. And that was something new that I learned, and I'm very happy with myself. So try to learn something new or a new hobby. Engage in ongoing learning. Seminars such as this here is perfect and great for you. So learn something new by engaging in ongoing learning. There's a lot of free avenues out there to get more education. Your local library has classes as well that are free, and even some colleges also have lifelong learning that's free. And finally, social engagement. What we found out with social engagement, it's associated with living longer with fewer disabilities. And the more we socialize, the healthier we are. So stay engaged in the community, because it offers you an opportunity to maintain your skills, what you've already learned, and remain social and mentally active may support brain health and possibly delay the onset of dementia. So you want to make sure that you are staying active and staying social. And I'm happy to be able to see all your smiling faces. And even if it's virtual, if you're being social, it really, really can be helpful. A simple telephone call also can be very helpful as well. So you want to make sure you're trying to stay as social as possible. But you want to make sure you're putting all those four pieces together. You can't just do one and think, oh, my brain's going to be okay because I walk 3 miles every day. Walking 3 miles every day is great. However, you want to make sure you're also eating right and keeping your mind active and staying connected with others. You have to do all four of these categories in order to keep your brain as healthy as possible. At one talk I was doing, I had one person say, well, I eat broccoli, so my brain must be fine. And I said, that's great, but do you exercise? Are you keeping your mind as active? And the answer was no. And so they're going to adapt, trying to do all four of these categories. So I challenge you to try to do these four categories and keep moving, eat right, keep your mind active, and stay connected with others. Also, be very wary about those infomercials or ads that you may see in magazines, because if it's too good to be true, it's probably not true. You've probably seen or heard of those infomercials. If you take my powdery shake, your memories will be fine and you'll never see Alzheimer's. Well, that is not true. And research, they're still doing a lot of research to keep Alzheimer's away to find out exactly what is the cause. So there is no cure at the moment. So be very careful what you hear. Be cautious when you hear huge promises or reports of miracle cures. Do thorough research. Always, always consult trusted, reputable professionals like your doctor, your local pharmacist. You can even contact the Alzheimer's Association. And on our website, we even have a section where we debunk a lot of those things that you may have heard that just are not true, such as if you use underarm deodorant, then you're at risk for developing Alzheimer's. And that is simply not true. Science has found out that that is not true. Please, please continue to use your underarm deodorant. But it's things like that that can be very scary. So just try to find, talk to someone who's reputable and try to find the answers to that. Your doctor, your local pharmacist, the Alzheimer's Association can be very good resources when it comes to trying to debunk some of that. Also, I want to talk about our Walk to End Alzheimer's event that's coming up. It is walk season. Our next walk is actually going to be in South Central Virginia this Saturday in Franklin, but all of our walks are virtual now, and it makes it a little different because we're not walking in person in a big group or at a big event. Well, we're doing it virtually, and we're going to have thousands of walkers that will be walking with their cell phone in their own neighborhoods and recording it on their cell phone. And so there's going to be a ton of different videos of individuals who have walked for the Walk to End Alzheimer's event. So it's going to be rather neat to see that new the new walk that we're doing virtually for the Walk to End Alzheimer's. And you can see we have the Western Tidewater Walk on October 3rd, the Eastern Shore Walk October 10th, and the Peninsula and Williamsburg October 17th and 24th, respectively. And finally, this here was an abridged version of our Healthy Living for Your Brain and Body. If you want to see the full version, you can always go to our website, alz.org, where you can view all of our presentations for free. And you can see the full version of Healthy Living for Your Brain and Body to learn more on how to keep your brain healthy as much as possible. And if you do have or need assistance, you can always call our 24/7 helpline, 1-800-272-3900. That number there, you will always get a live person every time, and you'll never get a recording with that. And this live person will be able to help you, answer questions for you. Even if you had that question about underarm deodorant, they'll be able to answer that question for you. That is my presentation. I thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Doug. It was wonderful having you. Always interesting things that you have to bring to us. So thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Okay. Our next presenter is Jamar Blyther, Department of Veterans Affairs, and Jamar is going to speak to us today on veterans benefits. Are you there, Jamar?
I am here.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
It's all yours.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Very thankful to be on the call. It's been a while since I've done an event with you all, but I'm excited to get it done. And I have the amazing opportunity to invite people who have maybe not tapped into their veteran benefits, get involved with the VA. My job as the veteran rep or as the outreach specialist is to go into a community and educate veterans on benefits. And I'd like to start off with talking about what is a veteran. So many veterans don't know if they're a veteran or not. So you have some people who are female. You have some people who served a long time ago who have not retired from the military or who have only served a few years and they assume that they are not veterans. Well, the VA deems that veterans are anyone who served in the military. So that means if you rose your hand at MEPS and you went to boot camp, you are a veteran. Doesn't matter if you were only in for a few weeks or if you were in for 20 plus years, you are a veteran. Every veteran is entitled to benefits, but just not every benefit. And what I want to do this morning more than anything is just to encourage you that in the midst of everything that's going on, it can be very, very sorrowful. We start seeing the things that's going on in our community and we automatically assume that there's no hope. But that is incorrect. There's always hope. There's always availability. With these things going on, the offices are still open. Some of the offices in the VA may be working virtually, meaning that the doors may be closed, but everyone is still available. Me, myself, I'm working from the house this week. I'll be back in the office next week, but there's always going to be someone available for phone calls. So number one, I want to encourage you that if you have served in the military, you are a veteran and you are entitled to veteran benefits. Now let's talk about some of those benefits that entitlement opens up doors for. The biggest benefit is going to be VA healthcare. VA healthcare is one of those benefits that most veterans think of. When we think about VA, we think of the hospitals. Within the Hampton Roads area, we have the VA Medical Center in Hampton, Virginia. Hampton, Virginia is the medical center, but it has clinics that work outside of that. So we have a clinic in Virginia Beach, we have a clinic in Chesapeake, and we also have a clinic in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. With those clinics, they do all physical and mental health care through the clinics in the VA Medical Center itself. Myself, I work for the Vet Center of the VA. The Vet Center is a department that focuses on mental health. So anything that has to do with your military service, you know what, it may be a drain on your family or maybe a drain on your emotions, or you know what, you just don't know about the benefits that you're entitled to. That is what our office takes care of. We have an office in Chesapeake in the Western Branch area and also an office in Virginia Beach. So I want to talk a little bit about the VA. When most veterans think about the VA, like I said before, they think about the hospital. They think about this place that, is set aside and it's all the way to this one secluded area and you have to go there for services. And that's not necessarily true. The VA is more like the military than anything else. So I was in the Army. And if you know anything about the military, all the branches are individual, independent branches. They all work individual from one another, and they do things differently, but they're all on the same team. And the VA has actually 3 teams that's broken up. So we have the Veterans Health Administration. Anything that has to do with healthcare is going to come through the Veterans Health Administration. The VA has the largest health administration in the whole nation, and we provide services to veterans. Outside of that, you have the benefits department. 9 times out of 10, a veteran is really looking to get benefit information. So the benefits department is the ones who handle that. And we do have local state offices in the area that can help you with that. I'll give you the phone number after my presentation. Last but not least is you're going to have the National Cemetery Administration. And anything that has to do with veteran burial, that's what they take care of. And the good thing is to know all of these different branches so you can make sure you're going to the right place. In my time working for the VA and being a veteran myself, I find a lot of veterans who are just confused. They say things like, oh, the VA doesn't care, or, no one really wants to help me, or it's supposed to go this way. You have to be denied this amount of times for it to work out correctly. And that's not true. What usually happens is the veteran ends up at the wrong place. They end up at the hospital trying to get a benefit taken care of, like disability compensation, or they end up at a benefits office trying to get a healthcare issue taken care of, like receiving a piece of medical equipment. So we just want to make sure that you're going to the right places to get things done the right way. I do know that some people have went to the VA before, and maybe it's been multiple years, and you have not stepped into those services again. The beautiful thing is it's never too late. It's never too late to have a happy childhood. You can come back into the VA and receive services, especially in a time that we're living in where there's a lot of uncertainty. One thing to be certain about is that we do have our benefits available. So let's talk about how to tap into some of these benefits and how to make sure that they can be set up correctly. Through the VA, I'm going to share my screen so people can see exactly what I'm talking about. Let's see. All right, through the VA. So when we're trying to get information about VA benefit, we always want to make sure that we go to the source. please don't just randomly Google search. You know, I was listening to the gentleman from the Alzheimer's Association, and he talked about there's so many people who are really trying to get people's information. There's a lot of shifty people out here, and they will do whatever they can to try to get your information because information is valuable. So when you're talking to someone or you're trying to get a VA benefit, you want to go to the source. Number one, you always want to go to va.gov. This website right here is the VA's website. We govern it. Anything that has to do with the benefit, it's updated 24 hours a day, and you're able to see it. You can go to va.gov, as you can see at the top of the screen. This is specifically for benefits.gov. And as we scroll down, on the left-hand side, you can see that's going to show you all the different departments. If you have a question about compensation, disability compensation or pension, if you have a question about education or home loans, life insurance, all of those things are available to you, and you're getting it from the source. One thing that happens in the military is that we have these relationships and we have people that we look up to. I was a specialist in the Army, and you know, you may have a sergeant that you looked up to. You may have a gunny in a different branch, or you may have a senior chief, whoever it may be. And they get out the military and they start to get benefits, and we automatically assume, well, they were the person to go to when I was in the military, they're the person to go to now. And that's not necessarily true. All benefits are unique to the veteran. So you want to make sure you go to the source. So number one, if you do have a VA question, 24 hours a day, you can go to va.gov. The other side of that is maybe you don't want to go to the computer. In the times that we're living in right now, I'm assuming that everybody has to go to a computer in one way, form, or fashion. But say you don't want to go to a computer, you can actually call the VA. You can call the VA and get information about your services also. So the main number to the VA for the benefits hotline is 1-800-827-1000. Once again, that's 1-800-827-1000. I'll put it in the chat box so people can have that also. I see people typing, maybe they're putting it in the chat box. But those things are available. So if you have a question from the national level, 1-800-827-1000. Well, say you don't want to speak to someone nationally. You don't know exactly who you're going to speak to. Say you want to speak to someone here locally. The beautiful thing about being in Hampton Roads is we have so many veterans here. We have phenomenal veteran services from our state. So we have the Virginia Department of Veteran Services. So with the Virginia Department of Veteran Services, every state has a department that is there to help the veteran mediate between the military and between the VA itself. And our local department is the Virginia Department of Veteran Services. They're out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. I'm gonna share another screen so you can see the phone number for them. Let me get that together. And I also want to give you a contact person. So let me get up here and we'll scroll down. Perfect. So we have Johanna Winters. Work with Johanna Winters a lot. She is a resource specialist for the Virginia Department of Veteran Services, and the specialized program she has is Virginia Veteran and Family Support. And if you look on here, you see that says Virginia Beach. So that means that there's someone locally that you can talk to. You can just pick up the phone. It's a 757 number. When all this COVID stuff is taken care of, you can literally go in their office and you can get information. And on top of that, you have someone that's going to walk you through it. It's not just a random phone number. We have a person that we can work with. So Johanna Winters is a phenomenal resource specialist. That's her cell phone number, that 274-2384. And that's the office number, the 689-3694. So if you need questions or things answered about services within the local area, that's who can help you with those things. Let's talk about VA healthcare. Say that you served in the military and maybe you've retired from your local job, or maybe you're living off Social Security, whatever it may be, but you're thinking, well, on top of this, I think I need to have some VA healthcare to supplement my healthcare. That would be a very good option, a very good idea to do. To get that accomplished, what you want to do is you want to reach out to the VA Medical Center. Like I told you, the VA Medical Center is located in Hampton, Virginia. And the phone number there is 722-9961. And on the same page, I will show you, I have a contact person for the VA Medical Center. So her name is Diane Alvis. She's a transition patient advocate there at the VA Medical Center. The address, 100 Emancipation Drive, building 14, and you can see the phone number and her extension. So you may ask, well, why are you giving me these individual people? The reason why I do that is because I want to make sure that you have a warm handoff. So many times we go through these types of briefings and they do a phenomenal job and they give us so much information. But what happens is when we get done with the briefing, we forget about it. You know, it doesn't matter if it's a virtual briefing or if it's something in person. You get your little trinket, you get your little pen or whatever it may be, you put it in the closet, you put it in the drawer. You don't think about it anymore. We don't want that to happen. We want to, that every event that's done, that you are educated and you can actually get those things accomplished. So giving you these people is going to give you someone that's going to walk you step by step through the process. So now you have someone, not only the VA phone number, but you have a direct contact to someone that can literally help you get into the system. Because we don't want to be here next year on another virtual conference or maybe even in-person conference, and then we're asking you the same thing. Did you get enrolled? Did you get any help? And you say, oh no, I put the number to the side, or I never gave them a phone call. We don't want that to happen. We want to actually get you in contact with people that can help you. So for VA healthcare, that is available in Hampton. You have to go there initially to get your services started. But then on top of that, after you're set up for services, you can actually go to one of our many clinics in Virginia Beach, in Chesapeake. And if you're outside of the area and you're in North Carolina, you can actually go to the one in Elizabeth City. Due to COVID, some of the offices aren't working at 100% capacity. But of course, if you have any questions, now you have a contact person to help you out with that. The biggest question that I have usually in my office is claims. So I filed a claim for disability compensation 20 years ago. I never got any help. Or I've been rated at 10% for the last 10 years. What can I do? Or if I've been denied before, can I file a claim? And the good thing is there's never too late to file a claim. As long as you are still living, you can file a claim at any time. There are people to help you through that process. And once again, I want to give you someone that can help you step by step. So American Legion Post 327, we work with them a lot. We work with them because they do a lot of great things for veterans. You don't have to be a member of the American Legion. You don't have to pay for anything. These are just people who are fellow veterans, a lot of them retirees, most of them disabled, just like you. And they want to make sure that you can get the benefit that you're entitled to. One thing that I always tell people is that me being a veteran, don't give me anything I don't deserve, but you better give me everything I do deserve. I don't want a handout. I don't want anything necessarily that I'm not supposed to have, but everything I'm entitled to, I should get. And I want to make sure that I have all the people in place to make that happen. And here's another person. So we have American Legion Post 327. Eric Isaacson is the leader of this group. He is the one in charge of all the people to make sure that things go well, to help you with the claim. He's located in Norfolk. As you can see, that's the address off of Lesnar. That's the phone number. I encourage you, please, to reach out and get your services. More than anything, with all that being said, very little bit of time, I just want to let you know that we appreciate your service. Thankful very much for what you've done. If it wasn't for your sacrifice, I wouldn't be here. My children wouldn't have the freedom that they have. So now that you've done your job, please let your government and your state help you get the benefit that you're entitled to. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jamar. It's always great hearing all of your great information. Good to see you again.
You also.
Okay. Our next speaker is Sean Smith, Director, Virginia Senior Medicare Patrol, and he will discuss fraud and COVID-19. Are you there, Sean?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, loud and clear. You're on. Thank you so much.
Right. Great. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I appreciate being able to come and talk about the Senior Medicare Patrol. And we're going to talk today about COVID scams and fraud in the age of the coronavirus. And just to give you an overview of what we are, the Senior Medicare Patrol helps to empower and assist Medicare beneficiaries, their families, and caregivers to prevent, detect, and report healthcare fraud, errors, and abuse. And we do that through outreach, counseling, and education. As a point of reference, the Senior Medicare Patrol operates under a grant by the administration from the Administration of Community Living. They are a part of the Department of Health and Human Services. And when we get our grant, we work with local area agencies on aging to administer the services we provide. Again, that's going to be education and outreach, as well as counseling to help individuals understand fraud. And then as they report fraud, we handle those cases as well. And so today, again, I was called or asked to talk about COVID scams. And so we're going to talk about 3 different sets of COVID scams. First, we're going to talk about contact tracing. Then we're going to move into COVID testing and vaccine scams. And then finally, PPE or personal protective equipment, donations, and investment scams. And these are things that we've been seeing across the country over the last 6 to 8 months as COVID has developed as a pandemic in the United States. I always like to start with this simple truth that scams are always all about money. People are running these scams as an opportunity to usurp either benefits or finances from individuals so that they can get cash or turn them into money. And so we might not think that things like our Medicare number or our Social Security number has value, but it does have value. If they take your Medicare number, they can get benefits from it and in the form of, and receive drugs and then sell those things. But it's all about getting money from you. And so we're gonna get started, again, talking about contact tracing. And we've seen this as a scam across the United States because it is a legitimate thing. And so contact tracing is an operation that happens in the health departments across the country. For us, Virginia Health Department, or Virginia Department of Health. And basically, it is an opportunity for us to help slow the spread of the coronavirus. And so if someone tests positive for the coronavirus, contact tracer gets a list of names for people they may have been in contact with, and they reach out to those individuals to help them know that they've been exposed to the coronavirus. So in a legitimate case, what happens is someone from the Department of Health will have a list of names that have been exposed or people that have potentially been exposed to the coronavirus. They will call those individuals on the phone and they will identify themselves as individuals that work for the Virginia Department of Health. During that phone call, they're going to ask you to identify yourself. And so they'll ask for some basic ID information. They're going to ask you for your full name, confirm your telephone number possibly, and then also maybe ask you for your mailing address. They will not ask for your Social Security number, and they will not ask for any other sensitive information. So they just want to make sure that they're talking to the right person. The next thing they're going to do is inform you that you've been exposed to the coronavirus or someone who tested positive for the coronavirus, or potentially have been exposed to someone who tested positive for the coronavirus. They won't tell you who that person is, but they will tell you that that person gave them your name as someone that may have potentially been exposed. What they'll try to do next is encourage you to get tested for the coronavirus because, again, we want to slow the spread. So if you know that you're infected, then you can take steps to make sure that it doesn't spread any further. And encouraging you to take a test, they may ask you whether or not you have health insurance or medical insurance. And they're only asking because if you have insurance, they know that you have access to getting a test. If you don't have health insurance, then they can direct you and give you instructions about what you can do to take a test. Also in that call, they're going to ask you to self-monitor to make sure you don't come down with symptoms, or at least be aware of if symptoms start to develop and and give you instructions about what to do there. And then finally, they're going to ask you to self-isolate. They want you not to be around so many people until you know for sure that you test negative for the coronavirus. Some truths you want to remember is that, first of all, it's going to be an unsolicited call. And this is unlike other unsolicited calls. We're very wary about unsolicited calls, but this is a legitimate call. And for that reason, the person that calls from the Department of Health, again, will identify themselves as someone that's from the Department of Health. And they're going to be able to give you any contact information that you need to be able to verify who they are. They'll give you their name, their phone number, their email address, and if you like, they'll give you the information from their health district. So you can immediately hang up the phone, call to verify that this is the right person, and then call them back if you like. But they want to make sure that you feel safe and that you're comfortable in knowing that this is the right person that you should be talking to about this. Again, they're gonna ask you for some self-identifying information, your name, your phone number, but nothing sensitive, no Social Security numbers, no Medicare numbers or anything like that. They may ask you if you have medical insurance, only to direct you to the right place if you don't. They're never gonna ask you for money or, again, that sensitive information. If they do ask you for those things, hang up the phone because it is a scam. And so you want to make sure that they're not taking that information from you, or at least requesting that. So that's contact tracing. The next two set of scams that we've been seeing have been centered around testing and vaccines. And so I put these two together because they develop in very similar ways. One is going to be an unsolicited call in most cases. And on that call, someone's going to either offer to mail you a testing kit so that you can test yourself at home to make sure that you don't have the coronavirus. Or they may ask to set up an appointment so you can take a COVID test. Or they may ask to set up an appointment so you can get a COVID vaccine. And so to people who are unsuspecting, this all sounds like a great opportunity. They called me, it makes it nice and easy. In order to pay for these services, they might ask you for your Medicare number. They're gonna say, let me have your Medicare number because Medicare pays for these services, and they're gonna want you to provide that. If you don't have that, or you don't want to give them your number, they're going to ask for some other form of payment. So they may ask you for some banking information or some credit card information. And again, that's just to make sure that from their end or from their perspective to pay for the services they're offering you. But here's the truth that you need to know about testing scams and the vaccine scams. One, there are no home self-administered tests for the coronavirus vaccine, for the coronavirus. The FDA has not approved any type of home testing for this, so they can't send you a testing kit. If there is a test, you have to do it at a medical establishment, either at your doctor's office, at the health department, or maybe even at like a patient first or a drive-through clinic, but it has to be done at a medical establishment. Likewise, there is no vaccine for the coronavirus that's been approved by the FDA. So if someone's calling you and saying to you, I can schedule an appointment to get a vaccine, it's definitely going to be part of a scam. So you don't want to fall for that. If you do need a test, reach out to your healthcare professional or go to the health department, and they can make sure that you're able to get a test. And if you get a test by your health department or through your physician, then Medicare will pay for it. So again, there's no test for, there's no home test for the coronavirus, and there are no vaccines for the coronavirus that are approved at this point. Once a vaccine is approved, again, Medicare will pay for it. So the next set of scams that we've been seeing, again, I've kind of lumped them together because they originate in very similar ways, are scams around personal protective equipment, scams around charitable donations, and scams around investments. So again, it's probably going to originate in an unsolicited call. And on that call, someone may ask you to purchase personal protective equipment. And that could be anything from N95 masks to gloves, or even some sanitizing equipment to keep your home safe from the coronavirus. They may make the call and they may ask you to give a charitable donation to families that have been impacted negatively economically by the coronavirus. And so they'll want you to donate money or donate items to them so that they can help support these families. And we've seen calls where people have said they're developing a new vaccine. If you invest now, by the time they're ready to roll out the vaccine, you can make tons of money. So you want to get in on the ground floor. To pay for these things or to support these things, they may ask for your Medicare number to say that the PPE that you're looking to purchase can be paid for by Medicare. So they may ask for your Medicare number. If not, they may ask for your credit card information for that. Same thing for the donation and the investment in the vaccine. They may ask for banking information or your credit card information. And if it's a donation, they may also ask for gift cards. They may ask you to purchase a gift card and mail it to this address, or purchase a gift card online and send it to us in this particular fashion. But again, all of that is part of the scam. What you need to know is you're going to always want to be suspect of unsolicited calls. If you did not reach out for this information, if you did not contact them first and they're just calling you unsolicited, then you want to be kind of wary. If someone calls you about charitable donations or about PPE or about an investment, get as much information from that individual as you can. Get their email address, get their phone number, get their web address. And with that information, you want to do your research on all of those companies. Check the World Wide Web, check with the BBB. Even if it didn't originate with a call, say there's something you saw on television or someone you know introduced it to you, so you still want to do your research. You want to check them out to make sure it's all legitimate. Once you do your research, consult with a trusted source. Talk to your family, talk to your friends, talk to your neighbors. If someone that you know has probably purchased personal protective equipment, someone you know has probably donated to charity to help support individuals and families that have been impacted by the coronavirus. Someone may have invested, but you want to have those conversations just to make sure that you're walking down the right road and that you're not giving your money over to somewhere that is really trying to be fraudulent. But also just protect your accounts. Again, we may not think that all of those accounts are going to be, all that information is going to be valuable to anyone, but it is. So just make sure you hold on and not give out any of that information until you're certain that what you're giving your money to is exactly what it's intended for. So some general rules we like to share when it comes to protecting yourself and avoiding scams is, one, always be suspect of unsolicited callers. As we said earlier, it's always about money. And so with that, whenever someone reaches out to you, they're reaching out because they want something from you. And so you have every right to be wary of their intentions. So always be suspect of unsolicited calls. Never give out your Medicare number. Again, it doesn't seem like it has value, but it does have value. And people have gone through great lengths to try to get those numbers so that they can use that value. And when they use that value, they take that ability to use that value from you. We've had cases where people have purchased drugs on someone's Medicare card, and you know that there are limitations to how much you can spend. So when those drugs have been purchased, then it puts you in a position where you can't use the money or the benefits there for yourself. Never give out your social security number. And I know that this goes without saying. We've had numbers for years, but it seems like every week we're dealing with individuals who have unsuspectedly given out that number and have compromised their identity because so. And so you always want to hold on to that. And of course, never give out your banking information, your credit card numbers, your bank numbers, and never buy gift cards for anyone that you don't know who it is you're buying those cards for. And then here's some things that we always like to help people remember. One is that these scammers are skilled, and they're really using psychological games and tactics on you. And so they're really going to do their best to get inside your head while you're on that call to manipulate you. And so they're going to play on your fears and your emotions. They're going to tell you things like, if you don't do it now, you're going to lose the opportunity. Or if around some other scams, they may be telling you things like, if you don't do it now, you're going to have a huge fine or a huge penalty, or you could be arrested, or you could go to jail. They're trying to scare you into doing what they want you to do. They may play on your emotions and talk about the family that needs money or needs help, and if you don't help them, they don't know how they're going to eat or going to sleep the next day or where they're going to be. And so they're going to play on those things to try to get you to give up that information. They're also going to work on trying to isolate you or keep others out of the conversation. And so you may say something like, let me talk to my spouse, or let me talk to my kids about this. And what they're going to try to do is rush for immediate action. Well, we don't have time for you to deal with them. If you don't do it while we're on the phone right now, you're going to lose out on the opportunity. But they're really trying to push you to make this decision in a hurry. But they're also going to be hesitant with their information. So if you start asking for their names or their phone numbers or how you can get back in contact with them, they're going to either give you bogus information or they're going to make up excuses. Well, you know, I work at a call center, so you're not guaranteed to get back to me. Or if we're on the phone now, if we hang up the phone, then you kind of lose out on the opportunity. I can't call you back. It's not going to be open to you any further. But again, they're playing these games to try to push you to make this immediate action right away. If you don't have time to think, and if you're not comfortable going forward with the situation, it's okay to hang up the call until you have time to feel comfortable to make sure you're doing the right thing. That's the end of the presentation, but what we want you to know is that the Virginia Senior Medicare Patrol is always here to help. Our phone number is 1-800-938-8885. If you suspect Medicare fraud, Medicare abuse, or any type of Medicare issue around fraud, errors, or abuse, give us a call and we can help you work through those and get you connected to the right person. Or you can visit us at our website at virginiasmp.com. All right.
That was great, Sean. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our next presenter is Kevin Hill, financial advisor and owner, A-Frame Financial. Kevin will discuss elections come and go, results last a lifetime. Welcome, Kevin.
Thanks for having me. All right, thanks for having me. Hope everyone's having a good morning. A little bit about who we are. So Again, my name is Kevin Hill, and I'm a financial advisor with A-Frame Financial. A-Frame is a team of Mass Mutual Financial Group. Mass Mutual has been around since 1851. Our team, we've been doing this for the past 12 years. We're located out in Virginia Beach in the office in Town Center. If you know where California Pizza Kitchen is in Virginia Beach, or P.F. Chang's, or even across the street from Cheesecake Factory, that's where we are. We're in the Amata Hoffler Tower. And I'm just going to kind of get right to the material. So I've been through 4 elections, so 2008, 2012, 2016, and now 2020. And I have found that one of the most a common concern that my clients have had is that when we are getting close to an election, most clients are thinking that the stock market is going to crash. It's a very alarming time for most people. I've had clients call me or we've had conversations and they say, "Hey, Kevin, is your phone ringing off the hook?" It's not ringing off the hook. I don't get calls every day saying, "Hey, 2020 it sounds like this is the election. A lot of bad things are going to happen," or whatever the opinion might be. What should I do with my investments? I find that the concern, most people are sharing it with me when we're having conversations, we're having meetings, and it comes out. It must be, I'm thinking that it might be keeping them up at night, or they're having a cup of coffee in the morning, but a lot of people are thinking about it. And so what I wanted to provide you today is some data on what investments have done during all the elections that we've had in history with the United States. And what you're going to find is probably some evidence supporting an idea that most people don't share. This presentation is going to have a lot of numbers on it, and I'm going to do a very good job of making sure you do not get lost in the numbers, and I'm going to pinpoint out evidence to help you understand what the expectations might be. And when I say expectations, I want to preface, we use this saying a lot in our business, that past performance is not indicative of future results. What that means is that just because I'm showing you material that it's looking at all of what history has done, it doesn't mean that history is going to repeat itself. But what it does mean is that a lot of the times elections provide, I'm not going to pull the cat out of the bag and give you the end of the presentation just right now, but you're going to find that a lot of the times we can rely on history to help ease our concerns. But it doesn't mean that we should bet that this is going to repeat itself. It's just, hey, I better understand what has happened in history. Now I can be better prepared to manage my behavior through this time. So when you think about it, I think there's 3 types of people that we want to help that might be on this call. The first person might be someone who's been managing their own finances their whole life, and they're continuing to do that, and that's great. So we hope to provide you some information that you can take away today and do something that's going to help you. The second might be someone who has a relationship with an advisor, and we hope that we can share, great information that you can take to your great relationship and say, "Hey, I learned this. Maybe we should have this conversation about our finances." Or someone might be interested in a second opinion. The third is someone who is not going to handle their own finances, but they might be looking for someone to help, and that's what we do. A lot of the times people they don't understand how financial advisors help people. It's done through consultation, and we provide free consultation. So at the end of the meeting, I'm gonna have a screen showing you my contact information. And if you would like to have conversations about your particular situation, we're more than happy to do that. It's at no charge. We're just going to talk and see if we can help you. So if you see on the screen, you see Capital Group and you see American Funds. And we're not affiliated with Capital Group or American Funds. Capital Group, they actually have offices out of Robin Hood Road out in Norfolk. American Funds is a massive mutual fund company. And what they do is they provide research and literature for advisors. And I have read this piece. I'm like, hey, this is a great piece. I need to share it with people. So we have no affiliation or endorsement with American Funds or Capital Group. They pretty much just did some research, put it together in a presentation, and I think it's good stuff. So a little busy, but let's kind of look at the top left, and I'm going to look at the first bullet point here, where you see, set your sights on the long term. Successful long-term investors stay the course and rely on time rather than timing. And what that means is that you cannot time the market. It's impossible. Okay, that's one fact I'm going to give you today. It's impossible to time the market. You might have a great story that personally you can share, or a relative or a close friend, where they made an investment and time was on their side and they won and said, hey, it was the best time and I made X amount of dollars, good for them. And you're just not hearing about the bad stories, because no one likes to talk about the bad stories. But I guarantee there's going to be even more, or many more people who have a bad story of trying to time the market. So you can't time it. You have to have timed end. Can't time the market. You have to have time end, meaning you have to participate with a long-term time horizon. And so what does this really mean? There's a study done by Dalbar, and it's taking the average return of the stock market. And it says on average, a 20-year period, the stock market returns roughly a little bit more than 9%. So follow me here. The stock market returns a little bit more than 9%. When you add humans to that, so you all, my clients, the average return of an investor participating in the stock market is 4. So the stock market does 9 and people do 4. And it's a really interesting study, and it has a lot to do with what you call financial behavior. It's the fact that when the market does the ebbs and the flows, we've seen one, in February and March with the COVID crisis. That was a pretty alarming crash. There was another one that we seem to forget about in 2018. That was in December. That was a pretty alarming crash. 2008. That was the most recent recession. Very, very alarming. So what do people do during those times? What do most people do? Most people actually get out of their investment strategy. So they sell. And so that's the idea of they're trying to time the market. They're going to time when they lose, before they lose, and then get back in, and so at the right time. But those that actually stayed course through the volatility, those are the ones that did better than the 4% average investor and got closer to the 9%. So I think that's the most important topic I can kind of relate on, because this election is probably putting a lot of concern to people to say, hey, I need to get out, or I'm not even going to get in if it was my intentions to be an investor. I had a client who moved into the area. I met with him actually on Tuesday, and he had X amount of dollars in his accounts. And he goes, hey, Kevin, I want to invest. And we talked about, the purpose, why. That's the most important, is why are you doing it? What is the objective? Not just because you want to, what's the objective? And it was to produce income for his retirement. And so, that's pretty important. He needs that monthly check. But he said, you know what, Kevin, after the election, I said, hey, just, you don't mind sharing, what do you think? He goes, I think the market's going to crash. And most people think that, so they're trying to time the market. But I'm saying, hey, it doesn't matter if it does or it doesn't. The idea that we have to have a plan that makes sense for you, and we need to generate interest to pay your income. That's the important part. And we had a conversation, but I wasn't able to talk him over the fence, so we are going to wait. So another thing is, investment success is dependent more on strength and resilience of the American economy rather than the candidate. And that's really looking at, how the stock market is connected to the economy. It's not just one thing. So think of, it's a web. It's a web of things that are interconnected. The election is important, but I can list 15 other very, very important things that matter as well. So we can't wait or put precedent on one of these economic factors that are going to put influence in the market. The market is also predicting the future, right? So if you look at it currently after the COVID crash, it's predicting the future. And the predictions, if you speak to what it's representing, is that we have market confidence. And I would say that we have market confidence because even though our economy is in kind of a flux right now, overall, it's strong. But we also haven't seen how the COVID that's going to come, I would say in a year or two, what is going to happen to the economy because of what we've had to do with social distancing and COVID. So it's not just to say, hey, everything's good. I don't want to preach that. I just want to say, let's not put precedent on one thing. Another way of looking at managing money is the third bullet point. The experience of a time-tested process of your investment manager can be important, meaning that who's managing the money matters. And when you look at, I'm not a money manager. I'm a financial advisor. I'm a coach. I give people creative strategies to utilize their money based off their goals and objectives. However, there's someone in some city managing the investments, and that's what they're doing. When you look at those managers, they're buying and selling the investments. You want to have a great tenure. And what I like to see is like a 15-year plus tenure. If you kind of think about it, if you go back 20 years, you have the tech bubble in 2000. You have the recession of 2008. You have 2011 was a down year. 2018 was a down year. And then you have COVID. So I counted 5 points of volatility that if the manager has experience, in my opinion, I feel they're going to have to learn something from that. And anytime you learn through circumstance or through a situation, we hope that next time you can react or be prepared for it. The bottom chart, what it shows you, and this is saying that there's always an issue, and this is my piece to say, America is always dealing with challenges, meaning that that's the way the democracy works. If we only focused on the good things, and we had media that only focused on the good things, it would be different. I don't know if we would be progressing, but the way our society works is that we are always seeking to improve, meaning that we find a challenge and we're always like, hey, what's going on? How can we get better? And so if you look at the current challenges, it's what I'm saying is nothing new. We're going to have this piece available to you. And so I can't really read it. It's pretty small, but what it's highlighting is that there's always something going on during an election that's bringing a ton of chatter and a ton of concern, and it could make people steer the course in a way that's off their plan that we created for them. So let's stay the course and make sure that your plan makes sense. This is actually going through the numbers. So this is saying, okay, well, Kevin, you're saying that there's always challenges. You're saying you need good and managers. You're saying you need to have time in the market, but show me more. This is saying that if you invested, so you weren't my client on Tuesday that said, no, I'm going to wait. If you invested $10,000 during an election year and kept it invested for 10 years, what would be your return? I'm just going to go through this real quick. Positive, 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 positive. The same. Positive, 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 positive. Lowest is at 2.7. That's the worst you would have done, and that's in 2000 because you dealt with the tech bubble right when you started and the credit crisis in 2008. So you look at that, and the evidence is there that we put so much precedent on the election, but the results aren't showing that we should. I don't think that we shouldn't, but in my opinion, I think it's a great opportunity for people to reset and be aware. And this awareness is maybe something that's influencing these positive results. So that's my opinion. It's not scientific. It's more kind of a story. The last slide, when you look at it, it shows you which party was in control. So now you say, okay, well, my party was in control during those periods that you showed me positive results. That's not true. So 19 of the 19 years I showed you, there's always positive results. And then if you look at this, it's going to show you which party was involved in presidency. What this chart is showing you that 12 of the times the Democrats were with positive results. 11 of the times the Republicans were with positive results. Red, blue, it doesn't matter. And so let's not wait, or let's not be fearful. Last kind of parting piece, and this gives you an opportunity to take down my information if you would like to, is that I do think that this presentation, when you look at it, if I was on the other side of the fence, I would say, okay, Kevin, what type of risk are we taking here? And the answer is you're taking risk. And if you look at older people and we get closer, or retirees, we're reducing our risk. And so one of the things too is that we don't need to take this and say, okay, well, let's go pedal to the metal. We need to say, we understand that there's opportunity here. what can we do as a retiree to still be in that bubble of managing risk and reducing risk while still keeping the opportunity to earning some money? Because last time, you go to the credit union or you go to the bank and you say, I want to own a certificate of deposit, you're going to earn about 1%, maybe if you're lucky. So interest rates aren't there for people to find safety. And so what we want to do is we want to talk to you about opportunities to say, hey, this is great. We love that you can make money in the market, but I don't want to put all my money there. Or I want to diversify, or I want to manage my risk. I want to be prudent. I want to be a prudent investor. But also, how can we seek what we call hedging? That's how can we seek a different way of looking at investments, reducing our risk and doing better than in the current interest rate environment. So that's it in kind of a nutshell. I thank you for the opportunity. I hope that you learned something and learned something new.
Thank you so much, Kevin. It's great having you. Okay, our final presenters for the day. We're going to have a little musical entertainment. And this is going to be performed by the Elderly Brothers Quartet, which is composed of Henry O'Neill, tenor, Dave Edgington, lead, Norm Barbie, bass, and Bob Patterson, baritone. Welcome, gentlemen.
I have been at home in quarantine, stopping spread of COVID-19. What else could I do? Don't want the virus from you. I haven't been here for the longest time. Baby, this won't last very long. There's no end in sight, but I could be wrong. Maybe I've been hoping too hard, but we've come this far and the curve's getting flatter. Exercise by jogging around my room. Online meetings taking place on Zoom. So this is safer. We're out of toilet paper. We haven't done here for the longest time. I had hoped at the start. I said to myself, I will do my part. Washing hands, not touching the face. I long for your embrace, and that's all that I hope for. It's my job to do all the right things. Social distancing as I sing. I miss you so bad. I think you ought to know that I intend to stay here for the longest time. Whoa, 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 for the longest time. Thank you. So we've already been introduced. We are the Elderly Brothers, and we're going to sing a song from the 1950s, and you'll probably recognize what it is. Dum 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 dum. Shoo shoo dee dum. Shoo shoo dee dum. Shoo shoo dee dum. In the still of the night, I held you tight. For I love you so, promise never let you go. In the still of the night, in the still The stars remind of the I hope that I'm rising to keep your precious love. So before you are alive, hold me again with all of your might in the still of the night. In the still of the night. Shua, 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 oh, Shua, 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 so before hold me again with all of your power in the still of the night. In the still of the night. In the Now we hope that you really enjoyed that oldie but goodie. It's one of my all-time favorites. Now, I'm sure some of you are from New York, or you've been to New York, or at least have heard of New York. If any of those things apply, you probably know about this iconic amusement park. And we're going to sing you a song now about it, about Coney Island. Oh, goodbye, my Coney Island baby. Farewell, my own true love. I'm gonna go away and leave you. Never see you any. Never gonna see you any. I'm gonna sail upon that ferry boat, never to return again. So goodbye, so long forever. Goodbye, my Coney Island. Goodbye, my Coney Island. Goodbye, my Coney Island. We all fall for some girl that dresses neat, some girl that's got big feet. You meet her on the street, then we'll join on the merry moves to the altar, just like leading lambs to slaughter. When it's over, oh boy, we get it good. That's for days we then recall. Rich man, poor man, beggar man, thief, doctor, lawyer, merchant, chief. We all are bound for ring-a-ding-ding-ding. Goodbye, my Coney Island baby. Farewell, my own true love. I'm gonna go away and leave you. Never see you any. Never gonna see you any. I'm gonna sail upon that ferry boat, never to return again. So, goodbye, farewell, so long forever. Goodbye, my Coney Island. Goodbye, my Coney Island. Goodbye, my Coney Island.
Thank you from the Elderly Brothers and the Commodore Chorus.
Oh my goodness. You fellas were absolutely wonderful. Henry, Dave, Norm, and Bob. Brings tears to my eyes because I recognize, I'm a Connecticut girl, and I recognized all of your songs. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What a lovely, lovely ending to our program. We do so appreciate your time. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to now turn the program back to Stephanie. of Senior Advocate for the closing remarks and the drawing for the iPad. Stephanie?
Thank you so much, Sharon. Yes, this is the exciting part, and hopefully everyone has had a great time on this seminar and this Zoom. Thank you for joining us. We had, I think, over 110 people. That's wonderful. So without further ado, I have the basket, and we're going to do a draw. Let's see who is going to win. And it looks like Mary Porzinski. Okay, and I just wanted to also say, again, thank you so much, Karen Christie. We love partnering with you. You guys have been so much fun. I'm gonna see if you wanna just say a couple of parting words before we head on out. Let me find you. There you are. Okay, Karen.
Oh, yes, this is fantastic. What a great way and a valuable way to spend a morning. And perhaps we can do many more of these in the very near future, but we're still very eager to get all of our seniors back with us up close and personal. Take care, everybody.
Take care, guys. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.